Welcome to the S.P.A Podcast. I am Yemisi, the S.P.A connoisseur, and I am super duper excited about today's episode. On today's S.P.A Podcast, we have Dr. Oluokun on the show, also known as Dr. O. Dr. O, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you on the show. You know how much I am a big fan of all things Dr. O. So when I was thinking about who to put on the podcast, of course, you came to mind just because of all of the great things that you've done. And we're going to learn a little bit about that today. How are you feeling? Let's start off with that.
I feel great. I had a lot on my schedule today, but everything fell into place. So I'm just excited to be here on the S.P.A Podcast.
Yes, I love it. I actually lit a candle for you, and I have the tranquility candle because that's what I want us to have in this ambiance today. Everything is going to be relaxing, and tranquility is going to be our aura for today.
Yes,
does that sound good?
Oh, excellent.
Okay. All right. I think it's important for people to understand why I have you on the S.P.A Podcast. So I'm going to read a brief bio about you just so people can know who you are. Dr. Tosin Oluokun, or Dr. O, is the founder and CEO of Dr. O Juice. She's a healthcare clinical IT professional, a nutritionist, and a fitness enthusiastic. With a PhD in healthcare management and a concentration in strategies to mitigate IT discrepancies in healthcare facilities, focusing on medication error from Cornell University, Dr. O has committed her life to transforming other lives. I can go on and on and on, but I would prefer that you tell your story than me. So let's go back to when this journey first began. And when I'm talking about journey, I'm specifically talking about your transition to becoming a vegan.
Okay, well, I wasn't always a vegan. I used to be a vegan, like my husband.
A vegan, I love that.
However, they had a fair at my church where they were testing blood pressure levels, cholesterol levels. So I said, why not? After choir, I went downstairs. I got my BP checked, and they were like, you are pre-hypertensive. And I was like, how come? I always work out and exercise.
Yeah.
Like, you're pre-hypertensive, you're not careful, you'll be on blood pressure medications. And then they also tested my cholesterol levels, and they said it was pretty high. So the irony of it is I contacted my friend who's a pharmacist, and I said, do you know any low-dose medications that I can start getting on? And she's like, how about you try juicing? And how about you actually try being vegan? I'm like, I can never be a vegan. I love Popeye's chicken too much. That's one of the joys of what me and my husband go. We like Popeye chickens and Cuban food. So I said, okay, I'll try it for 11 days. I tried it for 11 days of being vegan. I felt better. My skin looked better. I was glowing.
In 11 days?
11 days.
Wow.
11 days. And I dropped a lot of weight. That was not my original goal, but that was just a side effect. And I just felt so much better. And I said, you know what? I think this is something I could do for the rest of my life. And when I told people initially, people tried to tempt me with cake that is not vegan, with goat meat, chicken. My husband was cooking pork chops. He made sure he was baking every day. But it actually strengthened my endurance opposed to actually making me fall into temptation. And then the juicing came along because my friend she also told me, she said, you should try juicing because what it does is that it actually lowers your blood pressure by expanding your arterioles, allowing more blood to pass through. That's just the whole anatomy side of it. And I tried juicing and I loved it. So
what's the difference between being a vegan and a vegetarian? Because I really don't know, besides the fact that they both start with V, I know, and they both consist of fruit and vegetables in the diet. What's the major difference between being a vegan and a vegetarian?
So vegetarians, they're allowed to have dairy. So vegetarians, they can have cheese, they can have cake that has eggs in it. But vegans, they have absolutely no animal product. Anything that has a mother, we do not eat. So even eggs is classified as not being vegan.
Wow.
So I don't have any dairy and no meat.
What about butter? No butter?
I can have butter, but it's the butter that's dairy-free. So there's dairy-free of everything now.
Wow. So would you say that in the beginning, how long ago did you transition to becoming, I say transition, like, how long ago did you become a vegan?
It's 7 years now.
7 years. Now, did you find it difficult to find things for you to eat? or did your appetite just adjust to what was available?
Well, originally I didn't know what it entailed to be a vegan, so I was just literally eating carrots and celery until I started doing my research. I had to learn how to remake some of my favorite African dishes, and I realized, I said, a lot of the African foods we eat is actually vegan. The only thing that makes it not vegan is all the meat we add. But we don't actually add a lot of dairy to any of our foods.
Yeah,
so it was actually pretty easy for me, and I realized it's like I can have a lot of different foods that I love. I just have to learn how to remake it and taste nice the way I used to.
And so you have no regrets?
I have no regrets. I feel like I'm 16.
I actually saw a video of someone who, she was vegan, and I think she was like 70, and she looked like she was 40. I could not believe it. I was a little tempted, and I might even consider it for a bit, but you have to be disciplined. And I think I am disciplined in other areas of my life. But I think the strongest hurdle for me would be the Popeye's chicken. I mean, that would be the most difficult. And ice cream, of course, but I'm sure they have vegan.
Oh, there's vegan ice cream. Yes, definitely. All they have to just take out the dairy is delicious. You can even have sherbet if they don't have the dairy-free option at Cold Stone.
Wow.
So let's go anywhere. I'll tell you what you can eat.
Oh, goodness.
So just make it work.
I believe it. And the thing is, you are like my only friend that I know of that is a vegan. So every time I see something, because it seems rare, which is probably not, I always think about you. I'm always sending you pictures like, Dr. I saw this. This is a vegan. Actually, they have vegan candles. This candle is a vegan candle. I didn't even know that there were I didn't know that vegan candles was a thing. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. But I do have some vegan candles, and we'll talk about that later. So, Dr. O, you do so much, right? You have your juicing company. You teach. You are a fitness enthusiast. Let's start there. What does that exactly mean? What does it mean to be a fitness enthusiast?
So, fitness enthusiast in layman terms, basically someone that working out and nutrition and eating well is just part of your life. It's not something where you're like, oh my God, 30 minutes a day I'm going to do this. It's just a part of you, and you engage in activities that actually increase your heart rate and just make you exciting, like bowling, for instance. People don't know that bowling, you burn 200 calories an hour bowling, but that's something people do for fun. So it's just like fitness is fun. It doesn't have to be about running or walking. It can just be like daily activities. And then eating healthy food is so delicious. Yeah. It doesn't have to be like eating a salad. You can think of creative ways to bake, creative ways to, soups and dishes, etc. So.
And I know you have, of course, an Instagram page that's just on fire, and you're always sharing a lot of information. But do you find that people like reach out to you and ask you questions about things as far as vegan is concerned, or juicing, or do you feel like people are still trying to understand this? I won't call it a new phenomenon, but it's something that not a lot of people are used to yet.
I figured when I first started, people were kind of hesitant. They're like, let's see how long she can actually be vegan. Because a lot of people say, I would be vegan, and after a month, they're like, yeah, I think I'm going to slip some ribs here and there. But they're like, she's been vegan for 7 years. She's pretty consistent, so I trust her. So then they ask me, what do you eat? And I tell them, this is what I eat. They're like, okay, and how do you juice? So now they trust me so much that now they actually reach out when they're trying to do a cleanse, or if they're trying to adjust their healthy eating, or just eat less meat.
Right, so, right. I don't know who would question you staying vegan. If people who don't know, Dr. O is extremely competitive. So if she has a goal, I don't care what that goal is, she's doing it. I can share so many stories about, you'll say, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, really? And you're like, yes. And once she says yes, it's a wrap. You're doing it for however long it takes. I love it. I love it. So with everything that you do, how does that tie into your purpose? And let's start from there. How does that tie into your purpose?
At first, I was actually originally trying to figure it out, but after doing research, I realized what my purpose was. In the field of nutrition itself, there's only 3% of us. So all the BMI and all the statistics, you're seeing that, you go to a doctor's office and they're saying, you're overweight or you're unhealthy. They're doing it based on European standards, like what a Caucasian person is.
Now, when you say 3% of us, what do you mean by us?
Black people. 3% of black people are nutritionists. 94% are women. But out of that 94%, only 3% are actually people of color.
Wow.
And that's extremely bad because now if you went to the doctor's office and they're giving you a meal plan, you're more likely not going to follow it because you're like, so I'm eating this, but this is what I eat in my culture. But if you have a Nigerian lady that's saying, you know what, you can still eat your egusi, but just change this, then you're more likely to follow a healthy living plan and still enjoy your life in the midst.
Wow. So you would say that your purpose is helping people stay healthy, live a healthy life?
Yes, live a healthy life, enjoy yourself, and just make it a part of you. Don't make it as a stressor because the moment you say this is a journey, then you become tense because everyone looks at journey as something so difficult. But you say, you know what, this is how I'm going to live my life. So I want to be a representative of what it means to live a healthy life. So I feel like my purpose is to encourage people to live a healthy life, even help people reverse diseases without medication, or actually manage whatever disease they have better by just changing the lifestyle, being more active, and eating nutrition, and then also holistic living too. Peace, calmness. That's why I like this whole ambiance, like peace, calmness, healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my purpose is to spread awareness.
I love that. And now that you're talking about peace and calmness, one of my favorite words is serenity because I'm really big on, helping people discover what their serenity is, their place of serenity. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, what is or where is your place of serenity in the midst of all of these things that you have going on? How do you find your place of serenity?
So this is a really good question. The pandemic taught me how to find my place of serenity anywhere. So it's funny, this morning as I got my children ready, one kid was crying, the other kid was whining, and what I did to calm myself down is that I found just instrumental only, a calm song. I lit a candle, my serenity candle, I lit a candle, so nice smells, calm music. Even if a kid is crying, it just calms me down, and I feel like I'm able to handle stress anywhere. However, I spend a lot of time in my gym downstairs, my basement, and I sometimes just meditate, and it's okay to be still. But there's nothing, there's no noise, and there's no movement, and you're not thinking about anything. So you don't have that anxiety of, I have to do all this on my task list.
I love that. I love that. I love the fact that you said you can find your place of serenity anywhere.
Yeah.
And how often do you go to your place of serenity? Or how often do you get that? I know how often I go. But I don't know if my my frequency is more, less, off, or just about the same as other people.
I think mine is a lot more than other people because I feel like I deal with a lot of personalities daily in everything. On my job, even clients. I love my clients, but there's personalities. and just even in volunteer work in church or anywhere that I go, I feel I deal with personalities. And to make myself calm and not react, I feel like I'm going there every day. And my husband's like, do you have to light a candle and play this music every single day? And I'm like, yes, because I want to be my best self when I'm dealing with other people and not take out whatever I'm dealing with or whatever stresses I have.
I love that. I love that. As you know, I'm a coach as well, and I find I find so much joy in helping people get there. And like you said, you want to bring your best self because they feed off of your energy. Mm-hmm. And if you're tired, you're yawning, you're depressed, or you're feeling exhausted, they feel that too. So I love the fact that you're intentional about how you bring yourself, your best self to your appointments, to your sessions, to everything that you do. Yes. I love that. And I think if more people do that, they will have a better appreciation of themselves.
Yes.
Right? Because when you feel good, you're able to help other people feel good.
Exactly.
So I really love that. One of the things that I really, really enjoy about, I don't want to call it a journey, but how you have, over the past 7 years is how your brand of juice, Dr. O Juice, has grown over the years.
Yes.
And, I've done challenges with you. I've drank your juice just because I like the way it tastes. And I love how every so often it's getting better and better. And it was great from the jump.
Yes.
But now, the packaging is different. The website is different. Everything is just a reflection of who you are. So I really love that. But I want to ask you a question about the juicing. right?
August.
How did this go from a hobby to a business?
So when I started juicing, I was like what you mentioned earlier, I'm very competitive. So I didn't even care if it was a wedding. I was bringing my juice with me because I was juicing every quarter for 10 days. So every 3 months, I would juice for 10 days in a row. I didn't even care what occasion it was. And people started wondering, like, why should she bring her juice? Why should she bring her juice? So one fine day, I was bringing my juice to church, and the lady, a.k.a. Yemisi, was like, can you juice for me? And I said, no, I don't juice for people. And she's like, no, I wanted them to juice. And then I remember you following to our house.
Yeah, but you know what you said before that? You were like, I'll give you the ingredients until you do this. And I'm like,
yes.
So sad. And you might even have been Dr. O then, but I'm like, I don't want to do, I'm not, that's going to take out all the fun out of it. Like, by the time I'm done juicing, I'm not going to want to drink anything. So I was like, can you just do it for me? And you were like, okay.
Yeah, so I still remember the flavors I juiced for you that day. It was the Beat It, it was the Milky Way, Hawk Out, and Orange Medley. It was 4 big mason jars, and I was like, okay.
I still have those mason jars, by the way.
Oh, you do?
I love them.
And then all of a sudden, I started getting all these calls. I think probably from you because you're very popular. I'm like, who is this? And they weren't in my phone book. So they were like, please, can you juice for me? Can you juice for me? And then next thing you know, I was like, okay, went to Wegmans, started getting mason jars, juicing for all these people that, you referred to me. I thank you for that. And I'm like, I didn't have a logo. I didn't have a brand. I didn't even have a full recipe. I was just mixing things together. I did research on my own, but didn't know like the categories. So I started even driving to people's homes. And then that's when people from out of state were like, okay, so what about us?
Yeah.
When are you going to start shipping over there? And I remember my first shipment was to Texas, which was actually one of your friends. And I did it through mason jars, and my strategy was off. It was so heavy that I put it even in a cooler. It was so heavy that the cost of shipping was more expensive than the product itself. And then when it got to Texas, everything it was horrible. Like it was smelling, and everything broke. So I was like, okay, I need to find light bottles that can fit in people's car cup holders. It has to be BPA free, FDA approved, because you don't want it to have harmful chemicals in your juice from the plastic. So did all my research, and I found the bottles that were very light, etc. So that's how we evolved and moved from mason jars to FDA approved lightweight bottles that weigh close to nothing, and also spill proof. So it can make it through shipping. So that's how we started shipping to different states, and then we just test it. Usually if it's a faraway state like California, I usually test it with a friend first. So surprisingly, we're able to make it to California, Texas, different states. So now we're shipping through UPS. Nationwide, yes, nationwide. Because before I realized that, oh my God, I spent a whole day one day driving. It was just the DMV, driving to people's houses, dropping off juice. I'm like, I can't get my name out globally if I just stick to the whole juicing. And then from there, still no logo, came up with a brand. So then the brand Dr. O Juice, and that's how we evolved. And we're still trying to upgrade now to even a better label.
Yeah, because you're competitive. So anytime you get to one place, you're always thinking about the next step, which I love it. I love how you're always improving yourself. And you're glowing right now. I don't know if this is Dr. O Juice that's coming out, but your face is beat. And I love it. I love the energy that you're giving. What is your favorite juice?
My favorite juice? I love the Hawk Out, and surprisingly, because the hit or miss, I love the celery juice. Because we did a celery juice challenge.
Both are green.
Both are green. Okay. I love the green. I like all the juices, but my favorite is the Hawk Out, and I love the celery juice because I like how it makes me feel, and I like all the benefits as well as the other juices, but I love the benefits. So I drink it every day on an empty stomach before I eat, 15 minutes before my first meal.
Wow.
And my entire family. So they're all on drinking celery juice.
So speaking of your entire family, because you are technically the only one that's vegan.
Yes.
So how does the meal preparation go in your house? Like, do you cook non-vegan meals for everyone, or does everybody else take care of themselves and you just focus on what you're eating?
So the good thing is that me and my husband both cook. However, on the instances when I do cook, like first if I'm making like egusi stew, I'll make it as for a vegan, because basically almost everything to make that stew is vegan. And then on the side, he'll add all his meats and all the stuff that make it not so vegan. And that's how we deal with that. But most of the stuff in the house, I think my husband is starting to actually like these vegan dishes. Because I made him a couple of stuff, like I did the vegan lasagna, he liked it. He even tried the vegan egusi without the meat. He's like, oh, this is pretty good. I don't know if you admit it, but even the kids love it, like vegan pancakes. You can make anything vegan, actually. Anything.
Wow.
Except for meat. But there is options like eggs, vegan eggs. You can make vegan eggs.
There's a vegan something
tofu vegan. Tofu scramble. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not there yet, but I hope one day I'll be able to try it out. We've talked about so many things today. I think one of the things that will truly help people understand how you're able to do so much is your accountability process. How do you stay accountable, and who do you stay accountable to?
Number one, you need a coach. And my coach is not ironically or it's not coincidence, is Yemisi. And a coach just gives you guidance and actually helps you organize all the tools you already have and your talent and bring the best out of you. So one, a coach. And then also I have a planner where I write down everything that I'm going to do for the entire week. And I don't know if you remember this, but years ago you said there's just something different about writing it down. Because we're in the technology age where everybody puts in a calendar, but there's something about writing it down. You're using more of your senses. You're more likely to even remember what you wrote down. And then that way, when you write down everything for the week, now each day for each hour you can attack each task one at a time and just forget about all the other tasks. And if you don't finish everything, give yourself grace. Do it the next day. Like, I don't even view myself, I'm like, oh, I didn't cross that off. I'm going to do it tomorrow or the next day. But I just make sure there's not too much time to pass and I'm not completing tasks.
I remember you had a whiteboard in your office. And I don't even think if there was much white on the whiteboard because it was so detailed. You had everything you were doing for the week by hour. I think it was by hour.
Yes, it was by hour.
And I saw this and I said, this is how Dr. O gets things done because every hour is accounted for. And for some people that might seem overwhelming, but I can see how that provides you structure and the ability to get things done. So I love that. I tried that on a sheet of paper, not on the blackboard, but it works. And it is very helpful to kind of get you going and help you to realize what you need to do tomorrow that you couldn't do today.
Yes, and then it's in your face every day, so it reminds you. It's not like you have that New Year resolution and then you remember the next year like, oh, I said that? No, it's in your face every day.
Yeah, so you can't do without it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I can talk to you all day. I truly enjoy this. I do have one question before we wrap up. We talked about how you get to your place of serenity, your purpose, and how you stay accountable. I want to know, what does the future look like for Dr. O?
The future looks so good. My next goal is that I want to make my juice and my services, because I do nutrition consulting as well, accessible through insurance. So there's some things I'm working on that you will hear about that it will be accessible to all via insurance.
I love it. I love it. Dr. O, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I know you're busy, so the fact that you took out time to be on the S.P.A Podcast is just amazing, and I really, really appreciate it. I encourage you to go to her website, and her website is
DrOhhh.com. That's DROHHH. That's 3 H's.com.
And to follow her on Instagram. For nothing else, you will be motivated to get your life all the way together. This is the S.P.A Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. And I want to encourage you to go to my website, IamYemisi.com. Stop by the Shop LSC so you can get some goodies. And I look forward to seeing you in a bit. Thank you so much and have a great day.